Hi, everyone, and Happy New Year. I think it's perfect. We're talking about playfulness in the new year because there's something about there being a new year that can have people feel like anything is possible. And being playful is certainly one of those things that occurs in that kind of space or can. And I promised to do this on December 16th, which was the last night before my Christmas vacation. And I apologize that I didn't do what I said I would do. And I couldn't do what I said I would do because I was exhausted. And one of the questions y'all asked is, how can you be playful or become playful when you're exhausted? And the answer is, I don't think you can. I think we have to fix the exhaustion before we can be playful. And I think it's one of the reasons why we're really bummed. We're really bummed when our partners are exhausted because then they can't play and they don't play. And I know for me, that's what I want. I want it in more than my romantic relationship. I want playmates, but I especially want it in my romantic relationship. When Greg and I met in 1991, I was looking for my lifetime playmate. And when Dan and I met 2 years ago, I was looking for a playmate in life. It changed significantly, but I'm really excited to talk about this subject. And I loved the questions that you asked. I think I'm responding to, addressing almost all of them. And I want to start by telling you how I learned about playfulness, which is when I started studying men in 1991. And I had the question, what if men are responding to women? So that was the first question that I started studying men with. And I didn't ask them that question. I just started listening to them differently. And my mind works kind of like a change machine. So it would sort answers, right, into different categories. And as I started listening more and waiting longer, what we call waiting for the well, men started talking more and more, and they would talk about women and the effect that women had on them. And they started talking about how they responded to women. And it would sort into my mind that there were certain qualities that women had that inspired them. They were inspired, they were uplifted, they were in awe even, they caused admiration, and it caused a huge desire to provide for them. And then there are other qualities that caused men to be nurtured by women, which is something that they never stop needing, being nurtured by women. And it's definitely one of the requirements for most men in what they're looking for in a partner or a mate, is that they feel nurtured, they feel fed, they feel filled up by women. And then there are these qualities that I would put it in the category of what they caused men to do was participate. They inspired participation. And playful was the number one answer in that category, that it caused them to want to participate. And there was also sensual and sexual in there that caused them to want to participate in a sensual and sexual way. But they were distinct and they actually can be kept separate. And that is actually the response. One second, I'm going to close this so I can go to my notes. And because I want to make sure I'm addressing everything. It's really, really important to me because you asked such great questions. So the initial, right? The initial question, how do I become more playful, right? That's the most voted upon question on Instagram. And then what is the essence of playfulness, right? What is the essence of playfulness? One of the things I love about this word is how literal it is, which is one of the things that I've found about men and language in the dictionary, that they're quite literal. So when a man describes a woman as playful, that's what he means. She's full of play. She's full of play. And that's actually the secret to becoming playful, right? So, well, I was going to do this in a different order, but we're playing, so I don't have to do it in a particular order. So how to end up full of play is literally to fill yourself, to fill yourself up. So we would call it your playful tank. And when our playful tank is empty, we can't be playful. We can pretend to be playful, which pretense of any kind is pretty icky. And men are very sensitive to authenticity and the flip side, pretense. So pretend playfulness does not have the same effect as playfulness. So I wouldn't encourage you to never try to act playful when you don't feel playful. And that's how you know you're full of play, because you feel playful. So this is where our being in tune with our feelings is actually really important. And men are much more sensitive to feelings than they know. They can tell the difference between playfulness that's sincere, that has the feeling of play in it, and acting in a so-called playful way. And I'll distinguish some of those things. So we work on this a lot in an advanced course that we have called Being Extraordinary as a Woman and as a Man. How do you get your tanks filled? How do you embody spiritual or emotional qualities? How do you embody them to really be them authentically? And so one of the things I would tell you to look for is not what are the activities that you do that you feel playful while you're doing them, right? Like a merry-go-round. Okay, I'm playful on a merry-go-round. Well, that's good to know. But what is important for what we're working on here, how do you become playful? How do you be playful? Is you actually do the things, you spend time and energy and maybe money on the things that leave you full of the feeling of play, such that you can bring play to things that aren't fun. Bring play to things that aren't necessarily you really enjoy, right? You bring play to paying your bills or cleaning your house or doing your chores or cooking or snow plowing for most of your Christmas vacation. And you didn't expect to. That would be me. I was very playful on my tractor, smashing and bashing and moving an enormous amount of snow over the last 4 days. It was really fun. At one time, my tractor was like a stallion rearing up. I was climbing a snow mound, this huge mound of snow. It was so much fun. But I could do that because I had play in me. And so in a way, it's a feeling, but it's also a state of mind. So I couldn't play when I was in a hurry to get it done. No play when I was in a hurry. I had to just let go of what I'd planned on doing. This had to be done now, or there were severe consequences. I was in charge of my day anyway. So let go of my original plan and just be present and do this while I was doing it. And then I could play. So play is going to have a lot to do with presence, a lot to do with not having a goal, not having something you're focused on, and therefore your brain's screening out everything that's irrelevant, not having an agenda, not being up to something, right? That you're like going to try to get people to do. If you're trying to get people to do something, that's not playful. anytime you're trying to get people to do something, you're in the domain of manipulation. And playful isn't manipulative. Playful is full of play. And so it has an openness to it. It has a lack of agenda. And if I was going to give you just this strict answer to what is the essence of playfulness, it's being, okay, so it's a way that you're being, it's being an invitation to play. So your playfulness isn't just about that you're playing. Your playfulness is an invitation for someone else to play with you. Come play with me. You want to play with me? Let's play. So that requires a lot to be an invitation to play. If you look at it, there's some stuff that is got to go away, right? So besides filling yourself with the feeling of play, the energy of play, there's also clearing out the things that would interfere with being an invitation to play. So let me talk about some of those things. So if you're an invitation to play, it's also being open, right? You're being open. Again, that lack of agenda, that lack of something that needs to happen, right? And in order to be open, we usually need to feel safe. And I use usually, it's kind of tongue in cheek. I think we always have to feel safe. And in order to be open, and we may be the cause of our feeling safe, the other person may be the cause of our feeling safe. It could be a combination of both, but safety has to be present. And not only that we feel safe, we're being safe for the other person, for the other people. We're safe for them. There's not a wrong answer. There's not a wrong way to react or to respond. They're not going to get in trouble. However they respond to an invitation to play, they're not in trouble. It's all safe. The other thing is, there was a question about, is teasing a form of playfulness? Teasing can be a form of playfulness. It's one of the ways that I play. But for it to actually be a form of playfulness, there can't be any sneaky criticism in it. Women usually can't tease men the way their men friends can tease them. We have a different effect on them, and they have sensitivities that they don't have to most men in their life. So you got to really check. You got to really check. And enjoying teasing is something that I didn't know that I needed until I became single again after Greg passed. And one of the first things I did in communication with my boyfriend, we were just texting, and I teased him, and I texted him a teasing, and then I erased it. And then I texted again, and then I erased it. And then I'm like, wait a second, right? I lead Smart Singles. It's all about being authentically yourself. No kidding. I'm a teaser. We're going to find out if he can take teasing. If he can't take teasing, then we're probably not a fit. So I typed it back in, the teasing. And he had sent me a text that said, I woke up in the middle of the night. I woke up in the middle of the night to let my dog out to pee, and he read your message. And he didn't mean that at all, but I wrote back, your dog can read? And he thought it was hilarious. And when I told him about being hesitant about it and checking, like, what is he teasable? He's like, well, teasing means somebody loves you. And it's like, okay, this will work. But there was no attack in it whatsoever. There was just play. There was just play. So you got to really clean your clock. You got to clean your oven. You got to check and make sure there isn't anything else, any junk attached to this. No hidden criticism, no intent to attack, no intent to have them be the butt of a joke and other people enjoy it, but they won't. None of that's going to count in this category. So be careful of that. Okay. And then being safe yourself, right? Feeling safe. You might want to notice, do you experience being seen? Do you experience being heard? Do you experience being respected? Do you experience your boundaries being honored? Do you have confidence? Do you have confidence in the safety and the well-meaningness of the other person? And or do you have confidence in your ability to set boundaries and hold boundaries without being off-put, right? That you just hold a boundary when you need to. So this is what allows me to be playful even when I'm like leading a live workshop in front of a couple hundred people and I'm inviting people to participate with me and we're talking about sensitive subjects and they might throw a zinger at me. Well, I can be open and playful and safe because I trust in my own ability to interact with somebody having a reaction that's not fun and not playful. So I have confidence in that. So this is part of being playful, that you can trust yourself to handle what might show up for someone when you're being playful. And you might get your feelings hurt and that might shut you down. And you might be angry about something and that might shut you down. And then you're going to stop being playful. And it's better to just stop being playful than pretend to be playful on top of you have a, I'm not safe here. Again, just give up pretending. Let it go entirely. All right. So there was a question about this is a question, what shuts down playfulness in my wife? And again, since it's a really important quality to most men, especially in their romantic relationships, is playfulness, because it comes from safety and creates safety, it creates ease, creates an ease and a being relaxed and an absence of tension, which would be an absence of perceiving a threat in any way. So, or having an agenda, seeing an opportunity and having an agenda, it's the absence of that. So it's interesting because there's the question, what shuts down playfulness in my wife? And then how can I remain playful if my feelings are hurt? You probably can't. You probably can't. And instead of trying to be playful when your feelings are hurt, be authentic about your feelings are hurt. Ouch. Ouch, that hurt. Or ouch, my feelings just got hurt. Or wow, that really hurt my feelings. Or even more specific, you just hurt my feelings. Your reaction just hurt my feelings. What you said just hurt my feelings. Whatever's authentic. If you're authentic and honor your feelings being hurt, then you have a chance of them being healed, which we teach in Understanding Women, and it's on YouTube as well. If you want to go look it up, there are magic words that can heal our feelings. And we know our feelings are hurt when we were playful and we can return to being playful or playful again. That's how we can know that we were restored. How can I stay playful? How can I stay playful even when I feel rejected? You probably can't. Better to be authentic about feeling rejected. That really bums me out. And then it can be addressed instead of having pretense over the top of it. That's not actually going to turn out well. How do I become playful when I am exhausted? Start by resting. Go rest until you want to play. Go rest until you want to play. And you can even be this way, like with your children. You guys, I need a timeout. I need to go rest and recover, and then I can come back out and play. Do you think you could hold down the fort? Come get me if there's an emergency. Don't light anything on fire. I'm just going to be resting in the other room. I'm going to read a book and rest. You can rest and raise that you're keeping an ear alert for mom or dad emergencies. But we can't. Exhausted and play don't go together. We can pretend, we can try, but usually when we're exhausted, we're also vulnerable to feeling rejected, vulnerable to getting our feelings hurt, vulnerable to, okay, let's get this game started so it'll be over with. So I can go back to resting because I'm exhausted. I found out something interesting over Christmas because I've always stayed separately from my family. So I got the alone time that I needed so I could come be present to them when I was with them. And they let me know that they actually really wish I stayed with them. So this Christmas I did. And it was awesome because one of my daughters let me know. She said, I know you stay elsewhere and then you get what you need and then you show up when you're ready to be on. And I don't need you to be on. I'd rather you were just curled up in the corner listening to your book and you were just there. And it just hit me. It was like, oh, duh, I'm the mom. What matters is mom is there. She doesn't always have to be everything she wants to be. And, I certainly have an ideal mom, and being present to my children when I'm in their presence, definitely one of my ideals. And I found out, no, that's not the most important thing. We'd rather you're just here. So huge permission that I got, and a lot of things falling away in how I think I'm supposed to be a mom. It's awesome. And I bless my children for growing up and speaking their mind. It's awesome. So let's see, I addressed all of those. Let me look at the clock. Okay, good. The essence of playfulness, being an invitation to play, requires being open, feeling safe, and being safe for the other person, right? And feeling safe can come from feeling seen, heard, respected. It can also come from your own confidence, your own faith in yourself that you can handle whatever shows up, including boundaries. You can tell if you're playful, if you can bring play to just ordinary life. You can bring play to picking up dog poo frozen in the snow. Then you have enough play in your tank. And you can tell that you're playful because you feel it. There will be a place in your body where playfulness lives. I actually have a whole column. Playful is very important to me. I have a whole column of feeling associated with playfulness. Besides that, my cheeks start to hurt from smiling so much. Let's go on to this one now. How can I be playful without being childlike or too sexual? So this is one of the things I referred to in the beginning, that in this category of what is an invitation to participate is playfulness and sensuality and sexuality. And we talk about these in the Making Sense of Men book because it will cause physical attraction. Now, sensuality will cause a physical attraction related to pleasure because sensuality is being present to pleasure, the pleasure that your senses are bringing you. Sexuality, sexual energy will occur as an invitation to be sexual. Good reasons to be very aware of both of these, and don't be them when you don't want that response. So one of the most important things that I had to do as a woman and growing up and maturing is I had to literally have my own sensuality and sexuality become tangible to me, that I could feel that energy. I could feel when I was emitting that energy. And I had to become aware of it because until I gave up justifying disempowering men, emasculating men, I used sensuality and sexuality to emasculate them. Now, what? How does that emasculate them? I used it to throw men off balance. I could tell they were off balance. A man would use the word overpowering. So I used it to feel safe. They couldn't attack me if they were off balance. So I had to actually discern sexual energy and see how much I used it like armor, and take it off, set it down, find out how to feel safe without it. So that may be something that you have to do to be playful and not too sexual, playful and not sexual at all. Actually have complete volition about it, right? That you got your arms around it and you can turn it on and turn it off and keep it to yourself as appropriate for the situation. Again, it's being, right? How can I be playful without being childlike or being too sexual? They're all in the domain of being, which is one of the 3 things I assert we actually can control. I think there's only 3 things. And being is one of them. And chilling out sexual energy, ramping up sexual energy, having that facility with it is really important for us to bring it to where it's appropriate and empowering, and to leave it out where it's not. And then being childlike without being childlike. I was thinking about this as I was preparing for you. You need to bring play to your current self, or bring your current self to play. So you may have an access to playfulness from remembering being a child and being at play, right? No agenda, exploration, fun, openness, no place you're trying to get to, right? You can see children supposedly playing a game, but they're not playing. They're out to win, right? So you may have to update your relationship to being playful if you revert to being childlike. And it can be fun when you become aware of all this to be playful by pretending childlikeness, kind of tongue in cheek. It can be really, really funny, a grown-up pretending childlikeness, but you got to be able to be playful. I recommend you be able to be playful in your current self. So what is play for you now? And play might be physical. Play might be like tickling, right? Which could be a nightmare for some people and a delight for others. You got to check. Ben loves to be teased, but don't ever tickle him, right? Is play verbal for you, right? It's one of the things that I love about Dan is that we play with words, and he'll play with words, and he does things like he's going through our curriculum, right? So he completed Lux, and now he's about halfway through Understanding Women, and he'll get a new word. And then it's like he's playing with this new word, using it in a sentence and using it in this context and that context. It's hilarious. It's so much fun for me. It'll take words, sometimes words that I've made up, right? Like testosterometer. I made that up. He hasn't gotten there yet. He doesn't know that one, but it'll be really funny to see how he plays with it, which is a way that I love to play. And teasing, exaggerating, taking things out of context. These are all ways that I get to play with him because I'm truly being playful, and he responds to it. He's awesome with words. So, what is your form of playing? And see how do you like to play? How are you naturally playful? Are you playful dancing? Do you want somebody to dance with you and be playful about it? I love to dance. And that was one of the questions I asked Dan before I ever met him. I texted him and I started to text him, do you like to dance? And then I realized I don't care if he likes to dance. I care if he'll dance. So I texted, do you dance? And he texted back, let's dance. And the first weekend that we spent together, it was a guest in my home, right? So we stayed in the room upstairs because this was a long distance thing. And I wake up early in the morning and I was baking. And I had music on and I was dancing to the music while I was baking. I was talking about playful. I was very full, very me. And the next thing I know, he walks so quietly. He's a tall man. And I said, big man. But he's virtually silent. And I didn't hear him coming at all. The next thing I know, there he is. He's dancing. He's dancing to the music. And the next thing I know, he goes all the way down, like his knees, like he goes all the way down to the ground, bending his knees, shimmying. And I just, oh my gosh. I'm not sure if that was the first time I fell in love with him, but it was definitely one of the times I've fallen in love with him. And it's really fun because one of the things I asked for Christmas was to take dance lessons together. And so we are. Next month, we get to start. We're taking, is it East Coast swing, West Coast swing? We're taking swing dancing lessons starting in February. I'm so excited about it. But again, it's because I was being playful and he felt the invitation, right? I wasn't being careful. I didn't stop when he showed up, besides that I didn't know he showed up. So how do you play? Be congruent with your playfulness. Self-confidence is the most attractive quality for men and women by a long shot. Talk about voted up over the years by some, like man after man after man. Number one. Authenticity is the second most attractive quality. Passion is the third. Fourth is receptivity. So authenticity, self-confidence, authenticity, and receptivity, at least 3 out of the 4 most attractive qualities are going to be involved in being able to be playful. That's why it's so powerful. So if you look to what fills you up, and when you can't play, to tell the truth about it, I can't play. I got no play in me. I need to recover first, and then I can come be your playmate. It's one of the most important things you can do is to nurture your ability to play, to protect your ability to play, to ask for what you need. Like if someone's teasing you and you're not responding, I'm sorry, you can't tease me right now. My feelings are hurt. I need you to fix it. Oh, okay, let's fix that. So I think playfulness it's an expression of human spirit, truly. It has nothing to do with human instincts, so nothing to do with threats or opportunities or fight or flight or freeze. It isn't used for anything. It can cause important things, can cause participation. And that's why I've taught hundreds of people to speak publicly. And one of the most important things is for them to establish their own safety and be responsible for their own safety so that they can be playful, so that they can be an invitation for people to participate. Because that's when people really don't just gain knowledge, they actually can learn and transform. So it's important in so many domains, and especially in the domain of connecting, feeling connected. It can cause that, and be an expression of that. Okay. I addressed everything that I'm aware of, and we have like 9 more minutes. So if one of you who has joined me here on Zoom, where we're recording this and simulcasting on Instagram, if you would like to ask a question about playfulness in the reactions part of Zoom, raising your hand is one of the possibilities. So if you'd like to raise your hand, I can give you the microphone and you can ask me a question about playfulness. Or Tyler, you're the one who's been orchestrating this for everybody. If you have a follow-up question about playfulness, you can raise your hand too, and I'll give you the microphone. Otherwise, we'll wrap up. Do you have something for me, Tyler? No?
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay. All right.
Well, we can queue up. Is there any questions on Instagram? If you want to type in a question, we can try that.
We got a heart from Wahida. Thank you. So I loved that you guys asked about this. It is, I have a list. Some of you know, I have a list of 19 ways of being that I'm not willing to live without. And then I have another 23 behaviors that I'm not willing to live without. And playful is definitely one of the ways of being. And one of the things that a friend said about Dan and I is that we're growing younger together. And a huge part of that is how playful we are, and that we have adventures, and some of them are really strenuous, like getting certified in offshore sailing together, for example, but even being able to bring playfulness to being tested. Hundreds of questions we were tested on. And can you do that? Can you even can you be safe and even tentatively playful in the verge of being tense about something, like, oh God, what if we totally blow this? So it's a huge value of mine, which is why I love that you guys asked. And playfulness is in itself transformative. It changes the quality of life for everybody. And so if we can take care of ourselves in a way, give ourselves what we need so that we can feel playful and bring that to ordinary life, things that can be stressful or tiring or just as a pain in the butt, right? I wanted to paint my kitchen counter on my Christmas vacation. I didn't want to spend, it seemed like forever, moving snow, right? But I ended up having a blast and being better off for having done it. Probably way better off than for painting my counter. All right. Do you have something, Tyler? Did someone post something?
So yeah, there's one. It's sounds important. There's, how do you feel safe in your body if your surroundings are not safe?
How do you feel safe in your body if your surroundings are not safe? So that is a whole other topic. Feeling safe is a whole other topic. And I can say that it's going to be a matter of perception, entirely a matter of perception, because we don't all perceive certain circumstances as being safe or unsafe. And it's one of the things that astonished me in studying men, how many things that are really perceived as unsafe by almost all women that a man would be like, huh? Right? Like men raising their voices. Men raising their voices can cause an enormous amount of tension in women. And to a man, it's nothing. A raised voice is nothing, especially from a man. So it's going to be a matter of perception. And then it helps. Oh boy, there's a little intro to safety. If you think of us as human beings having two separate nervous systems, biologically in our brain, like we have two of them. And one of our nervous systems, its job is to monitor safety. Its job is to scan for threats and opportunities. Opportunities are not safe, by the way. And so it's going to scan for that. And that's it. It doesn't have an off switch. Especially in women, safety does not have an off switch. Physical safety. And if you want to see more about it, it's right there on our front page. A sample about the biggest difference between men and women. So ultimately, safe is going to be a choice. Safe is going to be a conscious decision. I'm safe enough. Even in this circumstance, I'm safe enough. And I live in a little house, basically in the woods. It's 90 steps from Dan's house, but it's very secluded in the middle of trees and snow, and not this time of year, bears, and this time of year, moose. And there's a lot of critters around here. And I could let that nervous system, my human animal, my human instincts get wound up about, am I safe? I have huge sheets of ice and snow that fall off the roof of my little house and crash on the side. I could react to every little sound of the ice moving. And I notice it, but that's why we have shutters up, so that it doesn't break the windows. I am safe, but I have to keep choosing I am safe. It's a conscious choice. I'm safe, I'm safe, I'm safe enough. So that's the short version. And sometimes you have to psych yourself. I'm really good at manipulating my own human instincts, my own human perceptions. It's one of the things that allows me to be in life the way that I am. All right, Tyler, thank you for that. And we're at time. And in case you don't know about it, next Wednesday, I'm going to be leading a little mini course called Are You Dating in the Dark? And we're going to be talking about things that men and women we're clueless about each other. We think we're the same and that we're doing things the same and we're doing them very differently, or we think we're different. And we're very much the same. So if you aren't already going to join us, it's part of our holiday sale, which lasts through midnight Pacific of January 5th, which some of you might already be in January 5th. But you may want to participate with us. It's less than $30, and it's going to be a whole lot of fun. And we're going to shine the light on where we're literally dating in the dark, and is a source of many of our results.